Hi everyone, so I'm going to walk you through how to do the Scratch flying tutorial. This is a really great tutorial because it really walks you through a lot of the basic aspects of Scratch. So once you follow the link given to you by Dr. Al to get to this page here, you'll notice on the right hand side we're doing the Make It Fly tutorial. So to start, all you need to do is click begin or go down here and click to start. So when they say choose a character, the first thing I have you do is choose a sprite. This is a word that they use to talk about the cartoon characters or the different basically icons you can use, which you'll see they say new sprite. So if you go over here to the left-hand side, under new sprite, you'll see your options. We're going to click that little like icon of some kind of fairy or something. And this brings up the page of all the different sprites that they have. So since we're making it fly, I'm going to use this bat. Once you select your sprite, go ahead and down to OK, and then go over to Next for the next step. Oh, one other thing that I want to do, since I've chosen a new sprite, I want to get rid of this sprite that automatically pops up. So to do that, I'm just going to click it, and then I'm going to go down here, and if you click if you right click on the sprite, you can go to delete, and it will get rid of it because I just want my bat. Now that I've gone to the next page, there are two things I need to do. I need to get an event script and a look script. I'm going to go to events first, and I'm going to use this green flag. So that means that when I click the green flag, it's going to start whatever script I put underneath it. After I've chosen that, you'll see that the next thing I need to go to is looks. I'm going to go to looks, and I want my bat to say hello for 2 seconds. So I'm just going to drag that over. If you want to change this text, you would just click on hello and change it. If you want to change the length, just click the 2 and change that. Now that I've followed those steps, I can click next. I'm going to add my scenery. So to do that, you can see I can do that by picking more sprites. So you want to make sure you're using sprites for this. I know you'll actually see backdrops as an option here. You want to make sure, even though it is a scenery and you think you're using backdrops, you want to use a sprite for this, and I'll go over that in a minute. I'm going to go to sprite, and I need to find some kind of building. So let's see, if you go into city, I have a building right here. So I'm just going to drag this building over, and I'm going to duplicate it just so I have one more, but I'll put it right over here. And now that I've positioned those, I can go to next. And you can use as many of these as you want. Now I need to make these objects move. So to make an object move, you want to make sure that over here you have them selected. I'm going to select this initial building. And once again, I need an event to start that object's motion. So I'm going to go to events again and click when the green flag is clicked and drag that out. Then I need to go to control, and I need to get a forever loop, I believe. Yes, you'll see here they use the forever loop, which is this block right here. After doing that, I need to go to motion. And let me go over what this forever block does really quickly. This forever loop here means that whatever instructions I put inside this loop, my building is going to do forever. Now that I've done that, I need to go to motion, like I said earlier, and the first thing I want to do is set my X to whatever the X of this building is, which I'm not sure that my X is actually at 0, but I'm going to go with that because anytime you move this object around, these coordinates should actually automatically adjust to whatever they are. So actually, you'll see here that my default right now says go to X is 159, Y 0. That's because that's the actual coordinate of this building I have here. So I actually want to set my X to be that 159. So if you notice, once we hit play later and your game is actually going, that something is off, you may see that your X has been set to something a little bit strange. So position your sprites wherever you want them, and then if you go into motion and you see the go to or set, it should automatically change those coordinates to be where they are right now. And you can't see it right now because we have this tutorial up, but it'll actually give you the object's coordinates in the upper right hand corner as well. Now I'm going to go back into control, and this time I want to use a repeat, which is right here, and it's going to repeat 100 times. And I know I'm kind of dragging out a lot of sprites right now, and without explaining them too much, but what I'm going to do is drag this out, and then once the game plays, I will have the code over here opened on the right hand side, and I'll go through exactly what each portion of this is doing and how it translates to what you see happening. So just bear with me while I go through setting up the initial code. So let's see, the last thing I want to do, it's loading. So I set my x to whatever I need it to be. I had to repeat 100 times, and then I want to change my x by -5. And you do want to make sure that this is negative, or else it's going to look like your sprite is flying backwards. Now, since I have two objects out here, I need to do the same thing for my building 2, which has a different x. It has an x of this, but what I'm going to do, just to make it simple, is delete the second building. If you have multiple sprites, what you would do is just put the same code in the same spot. The only thing you're going to want to change is what your x has been set to, because it's obviously in a different position in the coordinate plane. But I'm going to delete this for right now for the sake of keeping this simple. So I'm going to click next. And right now it's talking about changing what your object actually looks like, because they have different costumes. And what that means is if you click on your object, whatever sprite you have, you go up here, you'll see scripts, costumes, and sounds. Costumes means some of these buildings have different, it's basically the same code is there, but it can look a little bit different. So to make it look like I'm flying in different places, they're saying that I want to go to the next costume, which is what each of these are called, costumes. I'm going to go back to scripts, which is what this stuff is called. And I want to go into looks and drag next costume under when I set my axis. And these two need to be outside of my repeat. I can go to next, and we want to paint the sky. So this just means that we are changing the backdrop here. So right now it's white. What we want to do is over here is where you have your backdrops. Click on that. Go to backdrops, and now we can change it. So what I'm going to do is choose one that they have available by clicking this picture. And let's go with blue sky. And you can mess around with the different options you have and stuff to change it, but I'm just going to leave it at this blue sky for right now. Now we want to make it interactive, which means we want to make it so whatever sprite you've chosen can actually move up and down. You're not going to move it left to right really so much, because that will kind of diminish the illusion of your sprite flying, but we can change if it can move up and down, which is pretty cool. So we want to click on our bat again so that we know we're editing the script for that bat. We're going to go to scripts. And we're going to go back to events, but this time, instead of it happening when the green flag is clicked, we want to make sure that it's only doing this when we are giving a specific instruction to do so. So we are going to use the up and down arrows. So you'll see the second option, when space key is pressed, drag that out 2 different times. And for your first one, change it to the up arrow. And for your second one, change it to the down arrow. Then you want to go into motion again. Now, you really want to make sure here that you use change x by 10, or sorry, not x, we want to use our y coordinates. You want to use change y by 10, and you'll drag that out both times, but for your down arrow, you want to use a -10, because Scratch is basically set up on a coordinate plane, and so obviously your y-axis is horizontal, and so if you change y by +10, when you push the up arrow, your bat will move up, but if you change it by -10 on a coordinate plane, obviously going negatives on a y-axis means that you'll move downwards. One thing I want to make sure that I talk about really quickly is you really want to make sure you use your change y by here, or if you were moving left and right, you want to use change x instead of move 10, because when you use move 10, Scratch doesn't, it's not directional. So when you say move 10, Scratch only moves, I believe it will change X by 10 every single time. So this is useful for some projects when you do them, and as you get better and more experience with Scratch, you'll see that. But a lot of times when you're dealing with character movement or something, you want to change the motion or the movement by either Y or X coordinates. So I can test this out now, actually, and I should, as I click my up arrow, you'll see my bat is moving, and when I click my down arrow, it goes down. So now we want to go to next, and we're going to add things in the sky. We would do this the exact same way that we did for our building, where we just click a sprite, and we're going to add it. So let's see, maybe I want to have a cloud or something, or what if I go into let's see, oh, we'll go into all so I can find something good to put in the sky. Perfect, so I can put some clouds in there. I'm going to click a cloud, and it's adding it. But while it adds in that cloud, I'm just going to go to the next option. Now, something I want to talk about, I'm going to have this cloud be stationary. So I'm just going to put it up in the sky wherever I want. It's going to be loading, so I'm going to delete it and try that later. Well, Scratch is saving my project. Okay, sorry about that. So I actually closed out of the tutorial, but what we should see happen here now is I basically created an object that I can fly it upside down, up and down, and once I click this green flag, the building is moving, and as you can see, it almost looks like my bat is flying because this object just keeps going. Now, I do want to talk about these scripts that I have here a little bit more in detail, like I said I would. So for my bat, you can see when the green flag is clicked, when I click that green flag, that's when he says the hello for 2 seconds. And I'm using my arrows to move up and down. Now the script that's I really want to make sure I'm talking about is what's happening in my building. So once again, when I click this green flag is what's right here. Underneath that I have a forever loop, which means that whatever I set inside, this is going to happen forever until I press this red stop sign to stop the game. First thing I did was set my X to 159, which means that anytime this building shows up, it's at 159. Now, you'll notice that's causing my building to pop up right about here. Say you wanted it to show up over here, so you see the building glide the entire way to the left. You would just need to give it a larger X coordinate, so your building you would see almost come onto the screen. It's also using next costume, which means that after repeating changing the X by -5 100 times, it's switching outfits, which is why every time this happens, I get a new outfit. Now you'll see this repeat 100 times. So what's happening is my building is going right here in a new costume, and then 100 times my X is being changed by -5 as it glides back, and it just keeps happening over and over. And that's what's creating this illusion of my sprite flying. Once you're done with your sprite, you want to go ahead and give it a title, which you can change up here. So I might say flying bat. And then if you go to share, this will make it so others can actually see the project. If you want to see the project and just play it without looking at all of the code and stuff, you would just click the project page, which I'm not going to do because it'll take a little bit to load. But once you do that, it will create your game, and you can actually see it without all this code. And once you share it, that means anybody else on Scratch can view it and do other stuff. In the meantime, I would encourage you to check out all the other functions in Scratch. You can really do a lot with this website, but this is a really good introduction to some of those basic features that Scratch has.